episode of the Modern Data Masterclass.
Modern Data 101 presents the Modern Data Masterclass.
Today, we are going to be talking about how to boost data adoption for domains using the data product marketplace. Before we get started, a quick word about myself. I'm Priyanshi. I've been associated with the Modern Data Company as a principal for advanced analytics for the last 1 year. And I come with about 14 years of experience in analytics, having worked with several large organizations as well as startups, mostly in a consulting capacity. And some of my experience is what I'm going to be drawing on to talk to you today about how, if in my time I had the data product marketplace, my life would have been much better. Let's quickly dive in. In these many years that I have worked with several large medium enterprises, I have noticed this entire project life cycle, the way it begins, which is that as a vendor, we are actually given a problem statement, and we spoke with several business stakeholders in terms of what would make sense. And how the problem should actually be solved for using analytics. And obviously, once the problem statement is clear and everything is well edged out, the onus then falls on the organization who we are consulting with to make data available to us. Now, it is obviously going to be of no surprise to any of you who are watching this that this is exactly the phase where the maximum amount of time lapses. The reasons are different and very varied across different kinds of organization, mostly because of either the way the architecture is designed or the way people are, posted across different kinds of departments, different kinds of verticals across an organization, and what kind of information they have access to. Now, let's imagine a scenario where you step in as a data scientist and you want to solve for a certain problem. The very phase where you want to discover data and then start to quality check for it, and then do the right kind of transformations and make the data available for actually doing the right kind of problem statement related analytics, um, is probably starting nearly a few months later, because you may be starting in a green field. You don't know about whether the data is available or not, and you have to discover along the way what makes sense in terms of, say, you want to write a particular quality check. You need to verify whether that's the right kind of quality check or not. You need to ensure that the data is in a consumable format. Oftentimes, there may be issues such as, while the data has been ingested in a certain format until a certain period of time, there may have been a schema drift. Suddenly, you're seeing that in the same column, you see different kinds of features, different kinds of values, and you start to wonder, how did this happen? Now, all of these are cycles typically which are followed in many, many large enterprises. And this may be happening, of course, because there may be fewer governance or fewer, very specific checks in place with respect to how the data is flowing in or how the data should look. And obviously, it is the onus of the data scientist or the analytics person who is working on the problem to ensure that the right kind of data is available. And before you know it, there's already so many months that have passed. Now we are making a case against this particular way of solving for different kinds of problems with the data product marketplace. Now, what is the data product marketplace? Imagine that you have a large amount of data that is lying in your data lake. Move away from it and start looking at it from the perspective of your right side. You don't even need all of that data which has been ingested and has gone through several of those loopholes, which we call the medallion architecture levels, which is a silver, bronze, gold, etc. Instead, you start from the right side, and you envision what needs to be used in your right side or your consumption layer here in this example. And then say that happens to be a dashboard, say that happens to be some sort of LLM application. You work backwards to understand what data you exactly need. And that's where you start to figure out how should your data really look in a packaged format. So we are essentially talking about bringing the data in, building a product such that the product has all of your features, all of the quality checks, the governance, PII, everything sort of built in, such that this is the first and last time you're doing this. The contrast, of course, in the example that I'm talking about is every time the data scientist is trying to solve for this use case, he or she starts from scratch for each and every use case. While in this example where we're using a data product, you create the product for it to be reused multiple times. And every time you're solving for a new use case with the same data product, you're actually getting to your insights much faster, almost 3 times the amount of speed. Now, what is a data product marketplace? Essentially, all of these products, which, when coming together, are constituted to form a marketplace, which is searchable in nature. So you use a search function and you can look for any data product that you want every time you're trying to solve for a use case. Now, uh, the advantages of having a data product marketplace, of course, is while you're not reinventing the wheel every time, all the data products are available to you such that they are trustable. They have all of the essential features that are built in, are very use case specific, such that all of the contextual information that you need is already baked into the data product. So instead of moving from the left where all of the data is ingested and put into your data lake, in tables which have names that you can't even decipher, may sometimes have or may not have the right kind of tagging, the right kind of documentation available, the right kind of annotations available for you to understand what those tables are about. You instead have a data product which has all of these qualities, all of these features already baked in into the construct itself. Now, of course, you've built the data product, but your data product is as good as a table if it's not discoverable. What we intend to help users with is every time you build a data product, it has certain qualities, it has certain descriptions, all of that information baked in such that these fundamental consumable units are actually discoverable or can be searched. So obviously you've built something, but unless you sell it to your users or make it available to your users, it's only as good as a table which is sitting in your data lake. Now, the right kind of information needs to be available such that search becomes easy. You can browse and have all of the right kind of information baked in such that every time a data scientist or a data product manager is actually going into your catalog, is able to look for the right kind of data product, whether it is consumer aligned or it is source aligned, and they're able to use that, reuse it multiple times for solving each and every use case. Now, while it so happens that you have all of the information already baked in and you have several data products that are available for you, how do you actually make sure that it has the right kind of relatability quotient that is associated with it? So each and every data product that you build may actually be used for several use cases. Let's break this down a little bit. So, you've searched for something, but does it meet your needs? Is this where all of your descriptions are really detailed, such that all the information that really makes the data product relevant to you is available to you? Can you trust the data? um, do you see where it is flowing from? So we're talking about lineage over here. So you have your data product, but it has come from several data products or several logical tables actually coming together to form the data product. So, how do you know that it has the right kind of features available in it? How do you know where it has flown from? How has it performed in the past? Does it need, meet certain computational requirements? Does it have the right kind of governance in place? All of these are features that make a data product more available and more relatable to your users, such that they can actually use it for several use cases that they may want to solve for. There's also, of course, several entities which are coming together, which themselves will have a lot of quality, governance, and a lot of other features that need to be baked in. So you want to see how the data flows, and that flow and the performance and how many times it's been used and reused across different contexts is what makes a data product that much more attractive to your users. While you have the data product, you have the quality and governance and everything else associated with it, which makes the data product relatable as well. The usability of a data product is heavily dependent on whether it is made available. Now, when we talk about availability, while your catalog or your data product marketplace will make your data product available within the confines of your platform, is it available outside of your platform? Now, this is heavily governed by how your platform is really looking from an architectural perspective. If your data product can be used outside the confines of its platform, you immediately help in increasing the amount of adoption for your data product. So, does it have compatible output ports? Say, for instance, you want to use this data product to build certain applications. You want to use this data product simply to, kickstart another analytics or an ML or AI modeling project. Can you use it outside or on Jupyter Notebook? Can you use it on Cursor? All of these ways in which a data product can be consumed essentially makes the data product available, and that's what is going to drive up your adoption as well. So of course, bringing a data product outside of the confines of your platform also means that there has to be a certain amount of governance in place. So compatible output ports, governance and each at each and every touch point are extremely important to ensure that your data remains safe and secure, is accessible in a safe and secure manner, and is also usable across different platforms, say Power BI or Tableau, or even Excel for that matter, for certain business stakeholders who want to use it for quick analysis to get quick insights. All of this is going to ensure that the product salability increases and is accessible to a variety of users and not just people who are trying to use that data product for simple querying within the platform confines. Is going to govern the adoption of your data products. Well, there's so much of work that has gone into building a data product and making it available, but what really is going to take your data product to the next level is, while the data product has data which is flowing in from the left side, does it also have data that is flowing in from the right side? Now, let me give you an example in this case. Suppose your company has built a churn prediction model. Now, you have used that model to predict how many customers are likely to churn. So, while that information is available to you in your models, how can that information be used further to drive several other use cases which may be related to how you can actually make sure that these customers who are likely to churn actually do not attrite? So you can use information about these customers and use several different kinds of marketing techniques and targeting, and see whether those targeting initiatives are actually working or not. So think of this as a feedback system. Your data product has powered an ML model, and the ML model output, which is a prediction of the probability of whether the customer is going to churn or not, is available to you. How do you make it available again in your ecosystem where your data product exists? Can you enrich your data product? This enrichment essentially is what we call a consistent feedback, or a feedback loop system. And this system can ensure that the data product is always relevant, always has the freshest amount of data available. Suppose the marketing technique worked. The customer who was about to churn got an offer and came back to your brick and mortar store. This information again needs to get embedded into your data product such that the information is useful for several marketing teams to understand what trigger works and what doesn't. And a constantly refreshing data product, which is exposed to several other kinds of data and is being exposed in the marketplace itself, is going to ensure that your data product is relevant and will have the right amount of information flowing in and flowing out. So what you see over here is essentially just a breakdown of the churn prediction model in the form of what we call a semantic model. The semantic model itself that you see over here shows how different kinds of logical tables are related to each other. And you also have the customer information, which is flowing into, all of your data products and then being brought back into the churn prediction model. And all of these are interconnected, and these links help in understanding the relationships between the different entities. Now, this information is actually very relevant for several stakeholders to really understand how are different logical tables talking to each other, what are the different elements, and what is the data that is being used for creating this entire data product. Now, for understanding how each entity relates to each other, you don't have to query the data multiple times. You don't have to see, is it a one-to-one relationship or is it a many-to-one by writing SQL queries over and over again. You can just use this visual map to understand how the entities relate to each other. And this gives you a complete information of what your data product consists of and helps you understand how it is enriched. So you also see NPS responses, which is actually coming in not from the internal database for this particular use case, but from somewhere externally. All of this information about how the customer behaves, what their responses are to an NPS survey, helps in enriching the way the churn prediction happens. This is an example of what the lineage that I was talking about really looks like. So you see the journey of the evolution of each and every entity and how the data product actually comes together. So let's take the example of the NPS response that I was talking about. So you have the NPS responses, which is coming in as a Postgres table. From there, there's a flare job that has been built to look at how the NPS responses look. This has come into our iceberg table format, and that forms or that constitutes one particular schema or the logical table of NPS responses. And all of these together are joined to create the final output that you see, which is the data product. And this machine readable lineage, this complete map view of where the data is coming in from and how it is getting transformed and how it finally flows into your use case is extremely essential to understand exactly granular level details also. So you can click on each of these and see more information about what the schema looks like, what are the metrics that have been built, how is the semantic model designed such that it is ready for you to use in your use case. I'm now going to quickly switch over to give you a demo of what our data product marketplace actually looks like. Um, this is data OS that I'm going to navigate to, and I'll give you a quick overview of what are some of the key elements that we thought are really relevant to all of our users, such that the data product marketplace is really popular among all of them and is frequently used to discover newer data products and also discover ones that have been used in the past. This is the data product hub. As you can see, there are several buttons such that you can see which are the data products that have been used in the recent past. You can also favorite some of them. All of these are ways to enhance the discoverability, such that if there's any data product which is being used very often and you favorite it, you can quickly just log into this platform and immediately look for your favorites and go to the data product right away. There are also filters available for you. These can be by tier. Um, these can also be with respect to which domain they are mapped to. All of this information can be entered and keyed in when you're creating the data product. What is the use case that it was actually used for? And then who's the owner for it. Now, all of these different filtering mechanisms actually help somebody discover a data product much faster, especially if they have a use case in mind. Say if it is churn prediction, you know that it has a certain domain associated with it, which could be customer, it could be orders, it could be transactions, and you can quickly just apply the filters that you need to be able to discover your product. We have a separate use case or domain wise filtering also available over here. Let me also quickly take you to the data product that was used to build the churn prediction model for us. This is the customer 360, and you would see that all of this information that you see displayed on your screen right now gives you a very high level overview of all the different inputs that have gone in to create this customer 360 data product. You would also see that there are several access options which are made available, which is to the right. You can see that you can access it via a BI sync to be able to access the data product via Excel, via Tableau, via Power BI, and many others. There's also data APIs, which actually makes it really easy to query this data product outside of the confines of data OS. Data APIs essentially help you use the data in several different contexts and several models as well. You would see that there are several other tabs over here, such as the inputs, the semantic model, quality is available to you in this tab, such that you know that you can trust this data. um, you can see that it is a consumer aligned data product. This is the use case, which is the customer churn prediction. It meets all of the quality criteria, which makes the data product trustable to know that this is constantly refreshing and is available to you to be used without thinking twice. These are some of the qualities that we see really make a difference with respect to how data can be used across an organization. You build a contextual data product, put the right kind of tags, give it the right kind of descriptions, make glossaries available such that your users don't need to second guess about what are the features that are built into your data product. Have all of the relevant information available to them so that they can make a decision quickly about whether they can use this data product for their use cases or not. And of course, you reduce the amount of burden on your computation costs, because you're not bringing all of your data and dumping it and creating several data products, especially if you don't have a use case in mind. The use case based thinking is something that can actually help in rationalizing the amount of data that is being utilized, and you'll also get an understanding with respect to whether a certain data source will continue to be in use or will be used in the future or not. And building a controlled number of data products also ensures that there's not a lot of information overload across your entire organization, and the right kind of information is available to the right stakeholders, not limited to the technical folks, but also to several business stakeholders who want to understand what is there within the confines of the platform, how can they use it, how has it been used in the past, and how it can benefit in several use cases that they're imagining. Thank you for attending this session, and I hope you found this really beneficial. And I hope that if you're thinking about data products, you keep all of these points in mind, such that you revolutionize the way data adoption actually happens across your organization. Do leave us your comments, your feedback, and it was a pleasure, doing this session. Thank you all.
Access the Modern Data Masterclass for free on moderndata101.com/masterclass.